you ever wondered what it's like to be a realtor and maybe you are already a mom or want to be a mom and thinking, how the hell am I going to juggle all of this? How am I going to do it? Today, we're going to talk a little bit about my story and also kind of what a day in the life of a realtor is really like. My name is Olivia McNally. I am the founder and CEO of McNally & Associates, a boutique Bay Area real estate company servicing the San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, San Francisco, East Bay, and North Bay here in the Bay Area. So I started my career about 8 years ago, and I started as actually an assistant to a really top producing agent in San Francisco. I think there were like 40 applicants out for the position, and I was leaving my big corporate job at Lockheed Martin and very nervous for the transition, but knew I wanted to do something different. I took the leap of faith and I got hired, and about 6 months after being this gentleman's assistant and working around the clock to make a name for myself, he said, well, you have a choice. And I said, wait, what? I just started 6 months ago. He said, yeah, but now you have a choice. You're either going to go into sales and become my buyer's agent, or you're going to transition into running a small team for me. So I made the choice. I made the leap. I talked to my then fiance about it all and realized that I really needed to just go for it. So I got my license and I went out and I started selling real estate. And what I realized really quickly was there was a really big flaw in the industry. The biggest flaw that I saw at that time was there was no real connection between myself and all of the wonderful people I was meeting at open houses I was hosting, and just meeting, whether it was dialing or whether it was door knocking. I was meeting a lot of people, but the whole process of just go and show them houses that they want to see, it just wasn't really resonating with me. So I took a step back and realized really quickly that something needed to be done. And my then mentor and I sat down and we created this really great process together. And that process is actually still continuing now in my business today. And so when I decided to leave that team and start McNally & Associates a couple of years after being on this gentleman's team, I found out 5 days after taking the leap of faith to start my own business that I was unexpectedly pregnant with my first child. And it was like life was just throwing me all of these curveballs left and right. I was like, holy Toledo. I thought I was going to be pregnant in maybe a year or two. I wasn't expecting this. How in the world am I going to survive? I was already really nervous about starting my own business, my own company, and back in where I live and grow up, but transitioning from San Francisco real estate to the San Mateo County real estate and completely on my own, I was extremely nervous. Then I found out I was pregnant. So on top of it all, I was pregnant as well. Well, I didn't let that stop me. I kept going. And as I always have, I just really hit the pavement fast, and I made sure that I was every single day working as hard as I could to just continue making forward movement. Now, I'm not going to say it was all rainbows and butterflies, because there were times in which I had some really big aha learning lessons, as we all do. And I will continue to have that. I mean, I'm 8 years into this. But what I will tell you is the mindset that nothing is going to stop me and I'm going to make this happen is really what honestly kept me going and really has helped me get to where I am today. So, a life of a realtor is not a life for those who are looking to have a bunch of free time. I always tell people who sit down and ask me, what is it like? You have 2 young children, a husband, you're running a full-time business. Like, how do you do it all? And honestly, my answer is, I don't know. I'm really not quite sure how I do it all. I just do it. I get this question a lot, and I think some people just think I'm crazy. Sometimes I think I'm a little crazy too, but maybe it's my craziness that helps me keep going day in, day out. I'm not quite sure. What I do know is that 8 years ago when I made the leap from a very, very solid, good job that I was with for 7 years with the government, I decided at that moment during that transition that this was it. I was going to be in this industry until I was not working any longer. And when I started McNally and Associates, I knew that this was long-term for me. I knew that this is what was going to carry me through retirement. I'm not in this to sell houses. I'm not in this for the paycheck. And I know that's cliche because so many people say that. But for me, it's honest to God truth. I mean, when clients have such a large selection of amazing realtors here in the Bay Area, and they end up selecting me after interviewing others, I know it's one, because of the connection, but two, because they honestly trust in my process, in myself, and they know that when they are working with me, they are getting somebody who truly cares. And I also know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I think that that's one thing that, so many of us struggle with is, when clients reach out and they say, I just don't think that this relationship is working out any longer. I think a lot of people would be really taken back by that. And it would probably put them at a place of, oh my gosh, am I ever going to be successful? I can't believe this client fired me. It may even put them down for a week or two or even a month. I've seen some realtors just leave the industry. It's just too emotional for them. They just can't handle it. And what I've learned is that this is a relationship building piece of business, right? So we have to have a solid connection with clients. It is okay if we do not feel the connection, and it is okay if they don't feel the connection. We are allowed to say, I don't think we're a good fit, and I think that you would be better off working with somebody else. And clients are allowed to say the same. So one piece of advice I would give any new agent is, don't take it too personal. Maybe stop and reflect on what you might have been able to do different, but don't take it so personal to where you just give up, or don't take it too personal to where, you decide that you're not going to work for a week because you're so depressed about it. You got to brush yourself off. You've got to realize that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that is just totally okay. There is a reason that the clients who do decide to work with you decide to work with you. And it's okay for those clients who decide to work with somebody else. In my opinion, I think anybody who decides we're not a good fit we're probably dodging a big bullet. I have had it happen. For those who have said they've never had it happen, if they're top producing agents, they're completely lying, because in my experience, I haven't had it happen a lot. I think I've had it happen maybe 2 or 3 times in my entire career. And when it does happen, I really do stop and reflect on, how has that relationship been? Is there anything I could have done different? And really taking a step back to learn from it. But most of the time, it really just comes down to personalities, and we're just not a good fit. And that's really okay. So that's kind of my first piece of advice for any new agent looking at real estate is, you're not going to be able to please everybody. You're not supposed to. Those who you're supposed to work with will work with you. My second piece of advice for anybody looking to get into real estate would be, just make sure that you understand what this world is made of. This industry is made of a lot of grit and grind, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm not joking. When I first started in this industry, I was up until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, most nights for a few years. And every once in a while, I still have to pull those hours if I have, a lot of business. And, I feel like a lot of business is a blessing. And so I'm willing to work those extra hours just because it's super important to make sure that our business continues to thrive. But more importantly, that our clients are getting the service that they deserve. Because I truly believe that clients that are referred to us, which is about 95% of our business right now, those clients who are referred to us are coming from past clients, friends or family, and they understand from whoever has referred them that it's really our process and our service that sets us apart from so many other people in this industry. So if you're thinking about getting in here, just really understand that this is grit and grind. And your first year, the best advice I can give any new agent is this. Find a brokerage who has a really solid training for new agents. There is one that comes to mind, and I actually was with that brokerage when I first started in my career. But I really do believe that having a brokerage that you can sit with and train with, and there's a lot of other great agents and mentors in the office that can give you the time and the hand-holding you need as a new agent. It's super critical. I also would advise any new agent to know that it's going to take about a year for you to really feel as if you are solid. And you're still going to be learning a ton after your first year, but it's going to take a good year of grit and grind and just, 7 days a week to really see the results if you're putting in the time. I think the last statistic that I saw was 80% of realtors who get into real estate end up getting out within their first 12 months, just because they think it's really different. And I think one of the hardest statistics that I've heard is that the majority of realtors who get in end up either going through their entire savings or going bankrupt within their first year. And so that's heartbreaking. Join a team, join a brokerage. Joining a solid team is probably one of the best pieces of advice that I was given. And I'm so happy that I joined a great team at the beginning of my career. And now having a small team that, McNally and Associates carries, I am surrounded by like-minded women, and we all are learning and growing together on a daily basis, which is amazing. I was a solo agent for quite a few years and very successful. I was closing 40, 50 million a year here in the Bay Area as a solo agent, and I had an assistant, but it was lonely. I honestly don't want a big team. I have a lot of respect for big team owners, and I see the value in having big teams. But for me personally, my team is like my family. And so, I've tried bringing on team members in the past, and it just wasn't a good fit. They, for one reason or another, we separated very quickly after they joined, just because the fit has to be there. We are so much like a family at this point that whoever joins us in the future has to honestly kind of go past everybody on my team. It's not just my decision anymore. But for anybody looking to join or to get into real estate, I highly suggest getting into a brokerage. I'm gonna name drop. It's Keller Williams. So join Keller Williams, because hands down, as much as I do not drink the Kool-Aid, I think Keller Williams has a lot to offer. They really do. And if Keller Williams doesn't end up working for you one way or another, there are really great teams within other brokerages that have great training as well. There's actually a team that I know the team leader personally. So if you're thinking about getting into real estate and want a connection, but there's a solid team in the East Bay serving the Bay Area here with EXP, one of the largest EXP actual groups and teams, I think, in the nation. And so if you like that connection within EXP, I'd be happy to do that for you as well. But real estate can be a very lonely world. And so you really have to make sure that you make the right decision and choices up front when you're becoming a realtor. So good brokerage, join a team, do all of the training offered. And remember, it's not a 9-to-5, 5-day-a-week career. This is 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, honestly. And if you're a mom and you're thinking about getting into real estate, depending on your child's age, I know a lot of moms who think about getting into real estate is when their kids go back to school full time. So after kindergarten is kind of when I start to get moms coming to me and asking me about, what is a day of a life what is a day like in your life as a realtor and a mom? For me, it's a little bit different. We do have a full-time nanny and our oldest is in school full-time. But honestly, I cannot imagine trying to be a stay-at-home mom and juggling real estate. So if you're there and you're not quite ready to be able to put all of your energy and time into real estate, I would say wait until you are. One possibility would to, maybe join a team as an admin or a transaction coordinator. So you actually have working times designated from your employer. And so there are opportunities to learn the real estate world without having to be a realtor and pounding pavement 7 days a week. So a lot of other opportunities if you're just not quite there to, give your life for the first couple of years. I'm making this all sound so great, aren't I? Oh my gosh. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of controversy around what I've said by other realtors, and that's fine. Drop me a comment. I want to hear what you have to say. What's your experience? This has been my experience, right? And everybody's experience is different. That's the other piece that everybody has to remember is we all have our own journeys, and they're all going to look really, really different. But that's a little bit about my story. That's a little bit about, kind of my days of being a mompreneur and a realtor and a team owner at this point, which is so amazing. If you know anyone or you yourself is like, hey, this sounds like I might really enjoy it and it might be a good fit, feel free to reach out. I am talking with people all the time about what it's like and what a life as a realtor mompreneur is like. So if you want to, pick my brain, ask me questions, take me to coffee, meet me at my office, I'll give you coffee, whatever it is, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, looking forward to our next podcast. And if you have any ideas for our upcoming podcast subjects, anything you'd like me to talk about or share, be happy to do it. Drop it in the comments below.